Peter Michaels.
Patrick Bateman.
That is my name.
How
and
many?
yours
Like,
is
how
too.
long do we have to keep doing that for? People should know by now, right?
Well, I don't know. Do you ever do a radio show without saying your name at least once?
Touche.
Exactly.
And I've been doing it for 20 some odd years. Never mind.
Which it's fair to say it's not your real name, right?
Very fair to say.
Okay,
yes.
cool.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Well, we won't
actually
reveal more.
We did get into the story of this is a quick offshoot story. So Michaels, it's actually my middle name.
Mm-hmm.
But
Michaels.
Michael is the
Okay,
middle name, not
okay.
Michaels. Although my mom could have. So what happened was when I was born, and I don't know why they do this to a woman right after delivery, but
Sign this paper.
Sign this paper.
Yeah.
So when my mom signed that paper, she filled out my name, and the Michael was EAL.
Right.
Right. But then after everything else was done and everything else gets put in, she always spelled it AEL.
Right.
So that's just the way I was used to it my entire life until I went to
Wow.
get a passport.
Wow.
And they're like, that doesn't match the records. I'm like, what do you mean?
You're
it
under
doesn't?
arrest.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm like, okay, I
Wow.
guess I'm not crossing the border here. But yeah, it was a huge screw up.
That's how you learned, eh?
That's how I learned.
And then you had to learn how to spell your name properly.
Then I just kept it AEL.
Oh, did you
I've been
actually?
doing
Okay.
it that way my whole life.
All right. Well, that's your name. So congrats.
Side story. Good. Sorry. Distracted.
You were saying that we've got a birthday to mention.
Yes, our good friends at Sawback Brewing.
It's exciting.
And you were kind of surprised. I said 3 years. Did you think it's been longer, shorter?
I thought it had been a lot longer because I feel like I've been really enjoying their beer for longer than 3 years.
Yeah.
I had a hazy blonde ale last night, true story, and it was delicious and tasty. I was gaming with my brother, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm drinking this," and I was like, "Yeah, but I'm drinking this," and it's pretty guaranteed to be better than whatever swill you're drinking.
Yes.
But yeah, 3 years, just I don't know. They've accomplished a lot
They
in
have
their short
accomplished a
time
lot
on this earth.
and grown a lot, and they crank out some great beers. They did. I haven't seen what they've got for their birthday beer this year, but last year they did a birthday cake porter,
Okay.
and they actually had birthday cakes baked up that got thrown into the
Really?
brew. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Man, the world of craft
world.
brewing, a mystery to me.
So 3 years. Congrats to Sawback Brewing Company. Shout out to Bowes Barn Stage,
Mm-hmm.
Tourism Red Deer,
Mhm.
and Go Services Inc. for
course.
helping to support the show.
Producers Ryan and Ryley at Communal Creative Studios. Shout out. Thank you so much.
We're
Do a dab or two.
We're up to episode.
Not a dab like a smoking dab, but a dab of celebration. I think it's like this. I think that's what they do.
What is it?
A dab?
Yeah, could you show that one
Yeah,
more
like
time?
this. That's
It's-
a dab, right?
Okay.
Like this.
Patrick shooting
I think that's a
arrows
dab.
in the Communal Creative Studio.
I was very excited to chat with today's fella. He's got a new solo song out called Fade Out.
Which
Brandon
we
Wolfe
both
Scott.
kind of, you texted me that
Mhm.
you were booking him, and I was like, oh, I just listened to his song, and we're
Yeah.
both like, wow, like it is an amazing.
It's really good.
Amazing
And then
tune.
I'd never heard his previous 2020 EP, which is like, yeah, it's just solid.
Yeah.
It's really, really good. So he called in from Vancouver in his really cool looking wood panel studio, right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
one of the
looks
best setups we've seen so far.
Yeah, for sure. No offense to anyone else, but that was sick. Give us a like and subscribe on the Communal Creative Studios YouTube channel.
Go back and listen to previous episodes if you're not all caught up. I forget what number we're at now. We're in the.
This is
We hit in the mid-30s?
34, I think.
All right.
Brandon Wolfe Scott, thank you for your patience. It's funny because a couple weeks ago I was talking to my pal Siobhan with Sirius XM.
Oh, nice.
And
Yeah.
she said that you are a really nice guy. And now that we're 12 minutes late to the interview, we're going to find that out today.
Oh, that's kind of her to say. That's great. How are you guys?
We get to continue the interview. That's
Yeah.
good. I say he's successfully passed the test.
I'm good.
Good.
It's a lovely Saturday. How's your Saturday so far?
Well, we've got the atmospheric river happening here in British Columbia,
Yeah.
so it's pretty miserable.
Yeah.
Explain that to me, because I read it in an article the other day, and I've never heard that term before, which is
You heard the term.
I heard the term. I read
Atmospheric river.
Atmospheric river, and I meant to go and research a little bit more about exactly what that was.
Yeah, it just seems like this really dense weather pattern that's just keeps hitting us now. I think there's 3 more we're expecting over the next couple days, and
it's just heavy rain. It's just the way to describe a lot of
it's
rain.
constant. It was like a month's worth in one day that hit Abbotsford and completely soaked it, and Merritt and Princeton and all those places. So it's pretty devastating. Yeah.
Yeah, I talked to a colleague in Chilliwack, and he had mentioned something about there's like a lake basin that's been empty for about 70 plus years that is now filled again.
And now it's filled. Yeah.
Wow.
So it's we've got some serious flooding going on here.
Yeah, that's wild. I also have a coworker in Chilliwack who was kind of detailing how, like, it's for travel within the city, it's essential workers only, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But are you in Vancouver, Brandon?
Yeah, I'm in Vancouver. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And rain here it's pretty normal. It's pretty run of the mill here, but it's been extra dark and crazy though. Like it's very wet. So,
and have like how much has life changed with like being able to get products or gasoline shortages, anything like that affecting you?
Yeah, actually it was pretty wild the other night because we were coming home after like a late rehearsal, and Jeff, our singer there, lives in Coquitlam, so it's a bit of a drive, and he had no gas this one evening, and there was a crazy gas shortage, and he couldn't get gas anywhere. I've never seen that before. It was weird. Even like when COVID was happening, it was like a weird gas thing, but this was next level. Like people were freaking out. So,
oh man, that's
something's up, and like, I just feel really bad for all the farmers and their cattle and chickens and all these things. Like we're like, I think maybe we should go vegan now. This is terrible. It's just
might not have a choice in that matter.
Well, that seems to be the way. Yeah, it's I don't know, but the panic buying thing is a bit silly, I think.
Yeah, I was at Costco the other day and noticed that there was no toilet paper
again
at Costco.
Again,
and I was like,
yeah,
oh my god, this is like a year and a half ago.
Wow.
But
and why would that be there?
I know.
Curious.
Well, I guess we rely on you guys for our toilet paper.
Stock, yeah. Well, there you
go. Well, it is pretty crazy to hear someone from Vancouver and the West Coast specifically talk about how much rain there is, I will say.
I know, it's bizarre. Yeah, it's.
And we're not. I mean, you've lived in Central Alberta your entire life?
Yeah.
When was the last time we were reaching the end of December and you hadn't seen like an absurd amount of cold or snow yet?
Oh, it's very rare.
Because I was looking and it looks like it was sometime in the 1950s.
And I remember that actually winter really, really well.
Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's all across the board, but we'll put away the panicked apocalypse feels for now.
Sure.
And we'll talk about you and what's going on with you. You just put out a new song, which is, we were talking about it the other day, really good.
Thanks. Thanks, man.
And I hate being that guy, but I listen. I'm like, he wrote that for me. But I think there's so many people that can relate totally, and especially coming out of a pandemic. How much time are we sitting here doing this and not paying attention to what's directly in front of us?
Yeah, I mean, we have certainly a lot of distractions these days, more so than other days. But yeah, it's. I hope it comes across as something that people can relate to for sure. It was certainly like. It was because of COVID I wrote it. It was like the first thing I wrote once I hunkered down here. This is my little studio in here. So it was kind of nice to just build that. We just kind of like moved into this place at the start of COVID, which was actually quite fortunate. It was right before everything shut down. And I just had a lot of time to make a cool little studio and get excited about writing.
And was there one moment that you kind of pinpointed that kind of led to the song, or was it just kind of a culmination of just kind of noticing and people saying, or was there one time where you kind of got in shit and like, hey, pay attention to me? Where you're like, oh God, I got to do this.
Yeah, my partner's amazing, and she's very good at calling me on my shit. So, but I think it's just kind of my. I accepted that I probably have some sort of ADHD problem here, where I gap out pretty easily. So. Yeah, she got pretty frustrated, and we're living in close quarters, and she was working here, and we're just it's a relationship thing, and I just wasn't listening a lot of the time, and it's embarrassing, and I'm glad she does call me on my shit. So that was my realization moment, and I was like, I'll write this song about that. It kind of fit. For some reason I was kind of always humming that fade out line anyways on my voice memos and things like that. It's nice when you kind of have a tangible line like that you could be like, okay, sweet, I can just create this song around that line now.
And did the song work as some sort of apology in a sense?
I think it's helpful for sure. Like, here you go, Claire, I'm sorry.
Did you present it in demo form or fully produced final edition?
I mean, she's always kind of I always have to show her.
Okay.
This is an idea. Should I keep going with this? She's very honest with that stuff too. It's like, this is a bit shit, Bran, that kind of stuff. She's English too, so it's all cut and dry with her.
Yeah.
But yeah, for sure, she's very helpful along the way.
That's excellent. So with the term hologramming, can you give kind of a breakdown of this term? Because it sounds like it was born with you, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like a van term when we're touring. It's like, oh, Bran's gone. Everyone's talking amongst themselves. Jokes are happening in the van. I'm just gone somewhere. Oh, he's hologramming again, and yeah, that's embarrassing, isn't it?
I mean, it's
what a great term,
relatable,
though. And so relatable.
I mean, and that certainly didn't fit in the song, but I was like, yeah, the guys will like that bit anyways.
Damn, van terms. That's something we got to start inquiring about more.
Is Claire off camera to let you know if you get hologramming on us so that we don't have to be the assholes and say, hey,
it's true. Okay, I know. I gotta pay attention here. Eye contact is real.
Well, so again, I've said that the song is really good, and then I listened to something that I'd never heard before, which was your last EP.
Oh, cool.
Burden on Your Shoulders. Did you give it a spin?
Oh, yeah, I did.
Fuck, man. It's great.
Amazing. Sweet, man. Thank you.
It's a really, I would, please, anyone out there, go listen to that record, because it's, I was hologramming while listening to that record.
Nice.
Now, I'm curious how you feel about comparisons, and because we can get into it a little bit. Yukon Blonde records had come out, and read it sounds, this album kind of sounds like Blondie or kind of Talking Heads influenced. And with that EP, I had read, I think it was an Exclaim article that just went all over the Harrison comparisons and call it very George Harrison.
Oh, really?
Do you appreciate the comparisons, or would you rather just have that stand as your own creative content?
Oh, I mean, he's a pretty good stand-up guitar player. I'll take it. He's a good songwriter. I've been really obsessed with playing slide. And I don't normally get to do it with the band much. So it was kind of, I just wanted to experiment with that kind of sound. And it's very George Harrison. I mean, he's kind of the guy to mimic if you're going to do it. And I understand why people say it. It's great. More so, I'm more of a Mike Campbell fan from Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, though. So that's more my angle. I was really ripping on him, I would say, if anybody. But I'll take the George thing. That's great.
Have you gotten into the documentary at all?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, sorry. I was
just going to give you permission to open it up.
Yeah.
But yeah, go for it.
You knew it was coming.
Yeah.
Okay.
I started episode 1. Yeah, I haven't got past that yet. So
wait,
no
how many hours is it?
I think it's 8.
Oh, wow.
Altogether.
Yeah.
But you did get through the part because there's a very interesting part where George just doesn't have a lot of confidence in what he's doing, right? He says, you guys need Clapton in here. I can't do these things. I can't write like
really?
that. You need Clapton in here.
Yeah, he goes off on Clapton.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's I don't know, George. It's kind of a new light on George in that spotlight there. It's like,
I haven't seen it yet.
He's a bit aggro there. So
I haven't seen it yet.
I won't spoil it.
Well, no, I'm curious now. When you say he goes off on Clapton, you mean in like a condescending sense?
Not in a 2021 sense of going off on Clapton.
Well, okay.
Well, I mean, those guys were pals too. I
yeah,
think he just appreciated his skills. But he's certainly unconfident in that, or just tired. They all just look tired.
Incredibly tired.
That's wild.
And then you have Paul, who's so just on his game at that time. He's writing the best songs of all time at that moment. I'm just gonna quickly do "Let It Be" over here for a second.
Which is great. You can hear Paul just kind of start the piano riff for "Let It Be," and there's other conversations going on, and they show all these other. But Paul's over here just playing away, noodling away on what will be one of the greatest songs in history.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
And everybody else is just kind of milling about. It's a great fly on the wall. It's really cool to see. And I'm curious, is there any comparisons to your guys' creative process? I think a lot of people are going to look at this and just think, oh, well, that's how bands write songs.
Yes, compare yourselves to the Beatles, please, Brandon Wolfe Scott.
Well, it is funny because we had rehearsals last night, and we jam in a really massive warehouse. We're really lucky to have this cool space here, and it was funny. I think all of us had watched the night prior, and then you're obviously inspired by that stuff. And so you come in and everyone's kind of dressed a little nicer than usual. And we all kind of come in, we're like, ooh, yeah, okay, all right. But there's a lot of moments there where you're just you feel that tension. And I know that feeling so well in a band scenario when you're writing. Like, it's such a vulnerable place to be amongst your friends when you're writing. You have creative ideas. People aren't going to agree all the time. And yeah, I feel that big time in that documentary. They did a very good job of finding those elements. It's cool.
The remastering of the actual visuals looks unreal.
It looks amazing.
So
yeah. I'm blown away. I don't know how, like, I don't understand film, but even like at the beginning of the pandemic, I signed up for the Criterion channel, which kind of does a really incredible job of not just putting out old film, but also touching it up a little bit. And sometimes I can't believe watching something from, like, I don't know, 1930s, 1940s, and how goddamn good it looks.
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised that it's Peter Jackson, right?
Yeah.
Managed to do this with the Beatles doc, but it's also like you see it, and it's very, very cool to see that with such clarity.
It's vivid.
Yeah.
Although I don't know if it would be taken as a criticism. It's funny, my daughter was watching, and she'd actually asked, she's like, Dad, did they color this? Was this filmed in black and white originally? Which I don't know what she saw in that.
Done some coloring.
I think it was all filmed in color.
Yeah, it would have been.
Probably.
In the beginning?
Yeah. Probably, but he did that with, because Peter Jackson had that big, I think, World War I
That's right.
doc of like remastered, retouched, and recolored footage a couple years ago. So I don't know what kind of technology goes into that, but it looks. I haven't watched any of it, but it looks incredible. So I think that one of the big questions that many people are answering these days in their own heads is, who's their favorite Beatle? Now, I am gonna spoil it for Peter, but his is John Lennon. Do you have a single favorite Beatle?
It's tough, man. Again, I guess, like, I always kind of feel like I can maybe relate in a George way because I am a guitar player in a band. You know, I've got two very prominent songwriters in my band. I try and pitch some songs now and again too, and I always thought he was kind of like a quiet guy, but in that doc he gets a little, you know, I was like, oh, he's kind of a dickhead. I was like, shut up, George. But I think Paul's probably my favorite songwriter.
Oh, okay.
I have to say, he's just like such a heavy hitter and all the Wings stuff, and he just gets, you know, maybe his like the way the media perceives him or how he like perceives himself in an interview or something like that. He's kind of like comes off as a little bit gross sometimes, you know.
Right.
Oh, just a band.
Yeah.
You know?
Pete, you don't dig the Wing stuff, right?
No, I'm okay
You're
with all of it.
You're just 100% for John.
I'm 100%, and that stems from my dad was a huge John Lennon fan,
right?
And you know, kind of stood along with everything that John stood for, and yada. So I was really kind of raised.
Do you like
Ram?
Side.
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
You like Ram?
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, Ram's good. I mean, John Lennon, decent songwriter, you know. had a few pretty good songs.
Did okay.
He did all right.
Did okay. Well, and the other thing that's cool too is just to see some of those songs that were created in that session. We won't spend this whole time talking about the Beatles. Sorry, Patrick. But just the very beginning of that, of the part one, is John singing "Jealous Guy," but it's all completely different lyrics. So again, just to think of a song like "Jealous Guy" that started out, you know, in that session, that just got shelved for whatever reason,
right?
And then John brought, and there's a few other songs here and there that, like "Another Day," they were playing "Another Day."
I know. I noticed that one. I was like, that was cool to see that a little bit. I was like, oh, interesting. And All Things Must Pass, all, you know, like all these songs that got shelved for a little while. And
but like, again, you can tell that their focus was maybe starting to lean outside of
course,
just the four of them.
Yeah. And you wonder what they were like kind of saving for that.
Right.
You know, they must be thinking about it. It's like, maybe I'll save that one. But yeah. And Across the Universe, that was a sweet little vibe in there too with that. Sorry, buddy. I'm spilling all the beans here.
No, it's all good. It's all good. I will watch it. I mean, I'm gonna have to watch it sooner than later. Someone's gonna have to give me their goddamn Disney login or some shit. Is it Disney or Apple?
Disney.
It's Disney. Okay. Yeah.
It is nice though, after all of these years, and you've experienced it more than I have, to have a Beatles release that is actually new.
Yeah,
right.
And I've got like tons of friends that are big Beatles fans who have all pretty much said the exact same thing. I thought I knew everything.
Yeah.
But watching this documentary, you get so much more insight.
Yeah. I mean, it really reminds me of when the anthology came out. That was such a fun time, and I was so young. But it was, I mean, if it weren't for that, I probably wouldn't play music. Maybe, you know, you're like, it had such a big impact when those came out.
I remember that DVD box set.
Yeah, so I think I think that one's 13 hours. If memory serves.
Yeah, I don't know.
But it's cool. I always maintain it as well. Like, again, here we are, like 60 years after the fact of them starting.
Yeah.
And they're still influencing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's because they're aliens.
So are the cameras rolling during rehearsals now?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, all the time. Yeah, I've got a film crew going here. Yeah. Keeps the heat on.
What are you guys, you just rehearsing for these upcoming shows with Yukon Blonde, or?
We are, yeah. I mean, we're kind of just learning how to play our new record, which is fun.
Yeah.
It's nice to get in a room with everybody again, and it's exciting.
Wait,
It feels
sorry.
good.
When you say new record, you're not.
Well, Vindicator, it's like new to
Okay.
us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we've never really played them too much. You know what I mean? We
refer
got
to
to
it
play it.
as the pandemic record, right?
I mean, yeah, inevitably it is, for sure. Yeah, it's weird releasing music during a
Yeah.
pandemic. That was bizarre,
Mhm.
for sure. So there wasn't any like follow-up stuff. It felt like, you're just kind of like, here it is, into the abyss. But it's nice to make them real. We're playing them. It feels cool.
And was the plan always to do a deluxe edition of it, or did you kind of do the deluxe edition just to kind of maybe get it back out there into the world again?
Sure, it's like an invigorating market scheme for sure. But I think some of those songs it was really hard paring that record down. There was just so many fun songs that we had, and I think, I wanted to put those out anyways at some point. There's one Jeff wrote called "Birthday," and he recorded everything on that song.
Oh, wow.
None of us had anything to do with it really. We just kind of remixed it a bit, and I was just always gun it for, and I was like, Jeff, that's my favorite song of yours, man. It's kind of a quirky tune, but it's so sweet, and I'm glad it's out in the world. So I'm glad, the deluxe stuff exists.
And so you've got the one Victoria show and then 2 Vancouver concerts, right?
Yeah, and one in Nanaimo with Dwy from the Zolas.
Yeah, were you at that show last night?
I am, and I'm a little bit hungover, so yeah, bear with me here.
It looked like a real good time.
It was a really good show, yeah. And the Vogue is such a beautiful room, and I would assume it was sold out. It was jammed in there. That was like the most people I've seen in 2 years. It was great.
Yeah.
I'm really proud of those guys.
Yeah, that record is that new Zola's record is awesome.
Yeah, and it's cool, and it was nice to see. Like, it's cool in Vancouver. The whole community of musicians come out, and you get to hang out, and it's nice to see the Whale guys and Steve Bays and all those guys. It was good.
Yeah, Zach. We had Zach on the podcast
Quite early on.
Back in May or something.
Yeah.
But he told us about that Shui band.
Yeah, I unfortunately missed their set, so I'm gonna be checking them out.
Yeah, it's some pretty cool stuff.
Cool.
Yeah,
That's sweet.
Very cool stuff. Well, I'm jealous because I didn't actually make it out to their Edmonton or Calgary shows, and it looked like a real good time. And Dwy's record is really good too.
Yeah.
I can't imagine. Have you ever done that? Have you opened for Yukon Blonde as yourself and then played the set after?
No, I don't think I have. Maybe once or twice, but it was a long time ago if it was. But I don't know. Never really felt like something that would, I don't know, be kosher. But anyways, Dwy for sure fits. It's sweet how he can just do it as a stripped down 2-piece. Boom, boom. It's great.
Yeah.
Him and Bronson were killing it. I was loving it. Yeah.
It looks exhausting to me, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, they said it was pretty long days. They're loading in early, last to leave.
Yeah.
It's funny, I won't keep bringing it up, but there is a part in the Beatles documentary as well where they used to play the Cavern Club for 8 hours. They would do 8-hour-long sets.
The Cavern Club's when they were first going.
When they
that
first
was
got
like
going.
a residency kind of.
Yeah. Just on speed.
8 hours?
8 hours.
Yeah.
Could you imagine?
No, I mean, they got pretty good. Pretty good
What time
practice.
did their set
I have
start?
no idea. Like, if they started in the afternoon and just kept playing all night, I couldn't imagine what scenario that would be.
And all those like Hamburg days, they're just long nights. Long nights at these bars, man.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You mentioned the show in Nanaimo, and from the band account, you guys had posted a picture of Graham from the last time you guys played Nanaimo, who had an unfortunate incident very close to a personal area.
Yeah, it was bad news.
Was it in the van?
Pretty intense day. No, he was living in Toronto at the time, and he came out to rehearse. And I don't know what we were doing, but we were at I think we were just on our way to rehearsal. We stopped in for a coffee, and then he had to use the washroom, so we went to a public library to use the washroom. And he puts his huge venti T on the paper towel thing and pulls it on his bare crotch, and oh man, he's just like calling me that day, just being like, Brandon, I'm burned. And I had to go in there and Oh my God, I've never seen something like that.
Wait a minute, you had to go in there?
I had to go. He couldn't move. I had to call 911 and go up to the front clerk and be like, my friend has burned his parts here, and we got to get an ambulance. And oh my God, man, he was in so much pain. It was crazy. His skin just bubbled. It mainly hit his leg, which was very good.
Yeah.
It could have been terrible, but no scarring. I can't believe it. It's amazing. He healed very well.
What were you doing like when you realized the severity of the situation?
I didn't know what to do because I was like, oh my God, dude, all your skin's hanging off. And I was like, I have to go get some cold something. I think when the paramedics came, we had to like rip his pants off and get him into a shower and just put cold water on him for a second to relieve the pain. He was just gonna pass out from pain. It was crazy. But we had a show in Nanaimo the next day, and it was our first show with James, and that was his introduction to the band. It's like, oh, this is Graham here. He just burned his crotch off.
Oh my
Now,
God.
did anybody come walking into the bathroom while you guys are tending to this? Because that could have been a very odd look.
I know. I don't want to embarrass the guy. He's probably gonna listen to this and be like, Brandon, come on, man.
Hey, it's on the picture's on Instagram, so.
There was a guy in the next stall, and he was just like, Brandon, I burned myself. I'm done. He was just kind of like, oh my God. Yeah, it was a good time.
Holy shit, man. Oh, and then so he did end up. That picture is from hospital, right? Like he was.
Yeah, we had to rush him to the hospital and get him on laughing gas immediately, and he was a hoot after that for a bit.
Oh my God, that sounds so painful.
And then played the show the next day.
Yeah, I spent the day in hospital and kind of bandaged him up, and he was staying on my couch that weekend, and yeah, it was intense. But we bandaged him up, and he just had to. He was wearing my girlfriend's shorts there because he couldn't put pants on. It was tough, but we got through the show. It was a great show.
Yeah, that's
it's a long way to the top,
dude.
as they say.
If you wanna rock and roll. Yep.
Few warnings in that story for sure, for not just other bands, but the average person.
I won't even put my phone on that dispenser if I'm going to the bathroom because they're so.
They're finicky.
They're finicky.
I never look at them the same anymore.
No.
I'm always like, actually, that's a pretty in military grade toilet paper dispenser. I would put a drink on that one. Yeah.
That sounds like it could have been from one of those absolutely horrifying like public safety commercials that they aired like 10 years ago.
Right.
Do you remember those?
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
In the kitchen with the pot of boiling water and the slippery floor, like, oh my God.
And you think it'll never happen to you?
Yeah, well, it definitely won't now because I will ensure I take every lesson from that story and apply it to my real life.
Oh man,
was he nervous around coffees at all after that, or?
Yeah, I think he avoided the tea for a long time.
Yeah,
for sure. I mean, tea is always a hotter drink than it just doesn't cool. It's crazy. Coffee, you let it sit for 2 minutes, it's cold. Tea though,
yeah, that's. Are there any
really
other
retains its heat?
Are there any other kind of lessons you guys have learned on the road that applies to today that you can think of?
That's a really hard question. I don't know. The road is such a blurry time all the time, but I don't know, man. That's tough. I really don't know how to answer that. Have I learned anything? I don't know.
That story.
He's
does a good enough
hologramming.
job.
He's out.
Yeah, I am hologramming.
There's no lessons to be. He's hologramming.
Yeah, I don't know.
An important skill to have when there's some trauma happening. The ability to fade out.
Exactly. I know how to put chains on a van pretty good now. That's a good skill to have these days. That Coquihalla, man, it's a rough road. I think certainly the worst highway in all of North America for sure.
Is it right? Yeah. And so it's worse than even going through the Rogers Pass?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
I believe that. It's insane.
It's been forever since I've done the Coke.
It's crazy.
I mean, it's washed out now, so I won't be driving that.
I'm glad you brought that up because I was DMing with Zach from the Zolas, I don't know, that week because they had a few days off at home between their Ontario dates and their Alberta shows.
Yeah.
I was like, what's the deal? Like, are you going to be able to, are you still doing the shows? Because there's no way to drive here.
Yeah.
And they had to fly.
They flew in, eh? Okay. Yeah, I was wondering how they make those gigs happen.
Which would have been a lot more money spent than I think originally expected for shows in a neighboring province. But have you seen any? Are there any like estimates on when? Those roads still aren't open, right?
Some of them open, I believe, now to essential traffic,
commercial traffic.
Yeah, and I think
we need
there's
our toilet paper.
There's a highway, the Hope Princeton Highway. It's just like a longer route to Kelowna. I think you can get through there
and it's
now.
a one lane.
It's a one lane.
Yeah.
Yeah, I take that one to my parents' place. They live in a Soyuz, kind of on the border.
Cool.
And it's a nice drive, and it's lower level, so it doesn't get as bad as like snow and ice and all that stuff. But the Coke is so high, and it's just always shitty weather up there. Doesn't matter. It's like springtime, and you're like, yep, we hit ice somehow.
Going downhill for like an hour and a half on the way to Vancouver. That's how I felt about my Coca-Cola drive last summer. It was crazy. It was fun, but I was also in a small car, not a touring van, in the winter.
How's Red Deer doing? You guys, how's Alberta doing?
Well, it depends who you ask.
we bouncing back here? Yeah, I know.
It depends who you ask. I don't know. All I see are blunders.
There's a lot of blunders for sure.
Yeah, blunders.
A lot of separation. A lot of fighting.
A lot of division.
A lot of division.
Yeah.
A lot of division. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it seems that way. But the nice thing is that we're starting to get shows back.
Yes,
which is great. Like actual real shows, which is a lot of fun.
And I was trying to think the last time you guys were in Red Deer, I want to say was with the Zolas, which would have been 2018 at Bose.
2018. Yeah, it was really close to Christmas, I remember.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. It was early December, and then it was just I think the year before that with Rural Alberta Advantage. You guys played at the Memorial Center.
Yeah.
Oh, that show.
Year before that show was,
right.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean those guys are Alberta sweethearts.
Yes.
So that was a great tour with those guys. And they do well everywhere. They took us on a full, basically a year tour. It was amazing. Like we got to go to Europe with them, and all over America, and the crossover they have in America is insane. Like I guess the Saddle Creek label thing, Pitchfork stuff, really maintains a lot when it comes to ticket sales in America. It was cool. It was
and it was the full route too, right? Like you guys did.
Yeah.
East,
it was
southern, western.
For sure. Yep. Did the whole kit and caboodle, and Europe was insane. They're very loved band. It was cool.
I love them so much, I think, because their shows are very heavy, I find.
Yeah, they're an engaging live show for sure, man.
Yeah, it's like it can be pretty hammering at times. I love that band. Yeah. Very good.
One of my favorite encores that I've ever seen of any bands anywhere is just when they do Terrified. And they just kind of get the refrain of Terrified going, and then they walk off stage, and then the audience is clapping, and then the audience gets the refrain of Terrified going. So you got like 400, 500, 600 people all doing that refrain, and then they come back on stage and then just pick up with the audience. Is gorgeous.
It's pretty cool to see. Yeah. Their fans are diehard fans. It's cool.
So what's you've got we talked about these dates coming up just around home, but what's do you mind sharing any thoughts on what 22 looks like for you?
That's kind of just penciled in so far. That is just, we got these shows. We're gonna hopefully get some some more dates in the spring. We've started writing again, which has been nice. We're kind of consistently. I mean, Jeff's cranking songs and all the time. It's amazing. And we have a really nice little studio space, like I said, that we just get to go do Beatles stuff. Just go in and hopefully write some songs, and I think we'll just tinker away at that over the next little while for sure.
And what's the plan with the solo stuff? Is there like another EP that will follow with Fade Out?
I'm hoping so. Yeah. I've got to tie up some loose ends, and it just felt like a good time to put that song out. It felt like a fall song, just since I wrote it. I was just like, if I ever do release it, I want it to be kind of a fall vibe for that one. So that worked out really nice. And I have a few, that I'm sitting on that I just really need to take my time with, and I don't want to rush it. And, I just want to stay excited about it. So it's cool. I really like doing the solo thing. It's nice.
And then plan to maybe tour solo at some point?
I would love to. Yeah, I've been, I had Dwight in my band, and I had Graham from our band drumming, and Rebecca was playing synths, and it was kind of a nice hodgepodge of the Zolas and Yukon in my band. And we did a few shows right before the pandemic. It felt so good to play them live, and everyone's just such good players. So I would really love to do that. And I don't mind doing it just stripped down too. Like I kind of like doing the singer-songwriter style live thing as well. It's fun. It's just different from the band thing, so it's cool.
You've got you're at home right now, right? This is your home studio that you built during the pandemic. You've got a few guitars that we can see.
Yeah.
But I don't believe I see the guitar you took swimming in the ocean for the music video. Oh, no. Never mind. Okay, so there it is.
Yeah.
Now
this has a funny story actually.
Well, let's hear it.
Yeah, this is I mean, Sirius XM is not going to be too stoked, but this was actually a Sheepdog award. This was their Sirius XM Album of the Year award in 2012, and we were at a Dynalone backyard party. It was right when we got signed. I guess 2012. It would have been 2012. We were doing our Tiger Talk kind of tour cycle and stuff, and they always had these really great backyard parties at the label house, and the Sheepdogs were like pinnacle of their Rolling Stone success at that point.
Yeah.
And we became really good friends with those guys, and I was like, Ryan, I'm so broke, man. Like I'm living here in Toronto for a little while, and I want to do some writing. I don't have an acoustic. I was like, can I borrow an acoustic? Do you have one kicking around? He's like, actually, I think we got 3 of these from Sirius XM because they're all these awards at Dynalone. He's like, just take this one. And I wrote my whole first EP on this guitar, and
oh my god!
Now it's gone swimming, and it's really salty.
Yeah, I was wondering. So what kind of guitar is it?
It's just kind of a cheaper model Korean-made Epiphone jumbo body.
Okay.
But it sounded really nice. But I was like, visually that'd be really nice to do something fun and chuck something into the ocean.
Yeah, but I couldn't tell. It almost seemed like you were trying not to totally sink it in that video.
I didn't want to. No. I didn't. I was like, I want to retrieve it. It's sweet. It's a sweet old guitar, and it's got a lot of good memories behind it.
Yeah, and then you just left it out to dry afterwards?
Yeah, I actually put it next to my, we have this little fake fire thing in my living room, and I put it beside, and we could hear it drying out, and the strings would crack, and I was like, oh. So I loosened all the strings, but you could just hear the wood cracking away as it dried out. Yeah.
So is it pretty warped right now?
It's not as bad as I thought, but you certainly can't play it anymore.
You can't play it, okay.
And all the tuning heads have gone really rusty from the salt. So.
Oh man. Okay. All right.
That Pacific, she's salty.
Yeah.
So don't go swimming in the ocean with an acoustic that you plan on keeping in top form.
I mean, I didn't think it would survive, but that's okay.
At the same time, that guitar is now immortalized.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
It's had a fun story. That guitar deserves belongs in some sort of, I don't know, Hall of Fame, historian house of music.
Yeah, I don't remember I don't know if Ryan even remembers giving it to me. I don't know if I was supposed to give it back. I feel really bad.
You're about to get a call next week. Hey, remember that guitar?
Hey! But love that guy. He's the best.
So, yeah, we had a good time chatting with those two a while back as well.
Yeah, they were the first concert I got to see back here. They played a great show at the Malcolm Bowl downtown in Stanley Park, and they ripped it. It was amazing.
You mean this year, this past summer?
Yeah, it was when was it? Early September or something? Or maybe late August?
Yeah.
They had that little gap where it's I don't know, passports weren't there yet and all that kind of stuff. They just got in there. It was great. So it was like a full cap Malcolm Bowl show. I was like, wow, this is really wild right now.
That's crazy. Do you have any other show plans coming up? Just personal shows that you're excited to get to?
I have tickets for Caribou, who I'm really excited to see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that one's cool. There's this band called Loving from Victoria that are coming through. You should check them out. They're really good.
Loving. What kind of band is that?
I don't even know how to describe. They're just they're pretty mellow, really good drum sounds. Just kind of, it tweaks all my recording things. I'm always how did they get these sounds? I'm referencing it all the time. And then this guy Chris Cohen's coming up from LA. If we're Deerhoof fans, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
He's cool. He's got a really great project. He's a good writer, really good guitar player, and he'll be playing at the Biltmore here sometime in March, I think.
Oh, you got some great plans.
Yeah.
Have the Mother Dates happened? I imagine when Mother has a show, all of Vancouverites get
Yeah, they have 4, I think, at the Orpheum.
That hasn't happened yet.
Was it the Orpheum?
No.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, they were doing a bunch.
But it hasn't happened yet.
I don't know. Yeah.
No, I don't think it has. I think it's the first week of December, if I
it's coming
correctly.
up real quick. Okay.
Yeah, those guys are rock star status now. It's crazy.
Yeah,
it is wild.
They exploded. It's cool to see.
Yeah, are you guys on TikTok yet?
I think I better get on there. I gotta figure it out.
You
I've got this little neighbor girl upstairs actually who's made an account under my name, and she films my dog and makes cool videos with my dog. So I was like, huh, okay, I don't know if I should have my name on this or what's going on here. So
damn, okay, so
she's very good at it, so I'll take lessons from her.
There's a Brandon Wolfe Scott kind of sort of impersonator on TikTok then.
That's right. Yeah, you'll see my dog.
I was gonna say I try to get the animals out on as many podcasts as we can. Is George kicking around there somewhere? Or?
She's snoozed out in our living room. Right. She's getting old these days, but yeah, she's only 8 actually. She's fine, but she went really gray the last month. It's cool. She's got that distinguished look, you know.
Yeah. Is it George after the aforementioned George?
No, she was just Georgie. We got her from adopted her from Mexico.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah. She was brought up with this guy who was working down there, found her in the desert, brought her up. Boom, we got a dog.
That's awesome.
Cool. Yeah.
And your dog from Mexico has a TikTok under your name.
Yeah, she's going to be a famous dog.
Follow it up. I mean, Pete's been slightly half obsessed with TikTok for the last year. I'm shocked you haven't created one for
I'm
your own
not even
dog.
close to being. I do find there's some things about it that are fascinating. I will not go anywhere near it.
Yeah. Okay.
But there are some things about it that are fascinating. And I mean, like the Tragically Hip now have their TikTok. Led Zeppelin just got a TikTok.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Which
what the fuck does that even mean?
Which I would think would mean that should be the end, right? Like once all the old guys get on it. That's kind of the first death blow for a social media platform.
It usually is, yeah. Like Facebook is destroyed now, so
right.
Yeah. And destroying.
And destroying. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I like the editing features on it. It's pretty cool.
That's what I've heard.
It's pretty odd. Do you remember Vine?
Barely. I feel like I missed the Vine boat, which sucks because I do have some content creators that I learned about after Vine that I really appreciate now. But it seemed cool. Did you use it?
We dove in deep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's such a shame that all those videos are, I guess they're gone now, but we had some hilarious stuff on there. It was great because you could do this, the stop and start editing feature, and it was so funny, man. It was good.
Interesting. Well, I
would never caught on.
I wouldn't mind seeing like mashups of footage from this Beatles doc with whatever the hell Yukon Blonde is doing in their rehearsal studio.
It's true. We should do a back-to-back argument.
You won't even be able to tell the difference.
Yeah.
You'll forget which band you're watching.
We're probably going to see so many Beatles covers over the next few months and year because of this documentary.
Yeah, I mean, Jeff immediately got so excited, which is great. I mean, that's the best bit. But he's like, "Okay, I gotta do a Wings night. I gotta do it. I gotta do a Wings cover." But he's been wanting to do it for a really long time, and I would be down. It'd be great. It'd be a lot of work, but it'd be sweet.
Yeah, it'd be pretty fun.
Yeah,
have some fun with lots of auxiliary percussion.
Oh yeah.
All sorts of sounds. I like that. I like that a lot. I'm curious. Can you tell me or us a little bit about Stacy?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Well, Stacy's my friend from originally Toronto and now lives in LA.
Oh, okay.
Which is a smart move on her behalf.
Right.
She's kind of like, I just live vicariously through her. She's just always doing cool shit in LA. I'm like, wow, man. You know, she did the Neil Young thing where she just picked up and left. And
right.
And she's a good songwriter, so it's cool. It's cool to see her just bloom down there and meet cool people. And I reached out to her because I needed a female voice on this Neil Young song that I did called Razor Love.
Okay.
And I was singing the lead, and it just didn't feel good. You know, when you want to kind of recreate a cover and make it your own. And I was like, it needs a female voice. And I just kind of cold called her. And I was like, I saw some stuff. I listened to her tunes a lot, and I was like, she's got a great, cool voice. I wonder if she'd be down. I wonder if she'd, I don't know, be into it. But immediately was down and sent me a great voice recording back. And I used her first pass. It was great. I was like, this is sweet. And we just became friends. And I got to go down and write with her, which was a really cool experience because I've always kind of, it's that dream scenario where you're like, I'll go to LA and write with someone.
Yeah.
And she was living in this beautiful old house that she was renting, and it was great. It felt so nostalgic. Her whole vibe is 70s to the max. She lives and breathes. It's so cool. And yeah, I was just like, oh, let's just write some like Carole King style tunes, man. This is great.
That's so sweet. So like, do you have to kind of change your perspective to prepare to write for that specific style?
No, I mean, that's kind of my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
I like that stuff. It's classic songwriting's my favorite kind of way to approach music. So with her, it was really nice, and I really like harmonies. So it's really nice to sing with someone who gets it. You know, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's very easy. I've done, you know, certain songwriting things with people where it's not easy, and it's, you know, within the first couple of minutes that it might not work, you know?
Right.
And it can be quite awkward. But her, it was just like all the references were bang on, and it just felt like I had known her for a long time, which was cool.
That's awesome. It's and so you co-wrote and produced a good chunk of that record. That came, I think it was May of this year it came out.
Yeah, I did. She came up to Vancouver to finish her record. We had James, who plays bass in our band. He's a very good engineer and mixer, and he did a lot of heavy lifting with a lot of those songs, and we just kind of sculpted her songs around, and most of hers were, you know, she had them pretty much dialed. It was just kind of putting some odds and ends here, but yeah, we wrote that One Woman song together. That one from the ground up was great, and I recorded kind of everything in this little room here for that, and that was a great experience. So that was kind of the first song that we wrote together, and it felt good.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool record too. I'm really digging that vibe. It's fun to go and listen to a new old kind of sound, if that makes any sense.
She's great at it, and I think she pushes it into kind of the pop world, where it makes sense and it doesn't feel, you know, strange. It's really cool. I think she can. I think she'll be great. You know, she's gonna blow up.
How long was your session in LA with her?
Oh, it was only like 4 days.
Okay,
it was great.
And you were just working the whole time, or were there
two songs over 4 days? Yeah, it was great. I remember getting there at night, and we had some wine, and just kind of crushed a tune that night. And it felt great. Revisited it in the morning. It was like, yeah, this song's sick. And then later that afternoon, it was like, kind of, you know, she's a good piano player, so we were kind of fumbling around, and One Woman kind of just stumbled out, and she had that great lines like, "One woman, cool, we can make this work." And yeah, it was great. It felt very, it was very cool.
Is it as easy to write your own solo music as what you just described?
I think sometimes it is, for sure. I've really struggled during the pandemic. Unfortunately, it was like one of those things I was so excited to have time to just focus, and it was great. And it got to me. It was really, I think just not having any life experience, you know, like I love touring and meeting people, and you just learn from other people, and I don't know. So it was just, I got in a real bad headspace, but Fade Out was like a really easy one. And it was like, as soon as I got this all set up, that one just kind of fell out, and I was like, sweet. It felt so fun, really good. And I remember just being like, okay, cool. This, you know, this works. This is a working studio. I can make this happen. And then I just tried to write more, and it just fell apart really quickly.
Damn.
And, but it was okay because we had Vindicator coming out, and I got into like, making videos for the band's rollout, which was really fun. So that kind of kept me busy and creative. And then songs started to come back again, and it was nice. And you kind of stress yourself out with writer's block. It's like, as soon as you think you can never do it again, stuff starts to seep in again, and it's cool.
Is that something that can keep you up at night?
Oh man, dude, I never sleep. It's brutal.
Like ever, and in general?
I'm a terrible sleeper, and I'm always it's like, all your fun ideas kind of come at 3 a.m. and I don't want to disturb my partner, and we kind of live in a small place. It's not like I can really go downstairs or something, you know, just like flush out an idea. Like, she'll hear me in here, and it's tough with that stuff. And I'm constantly thinking about, life, I guess. You're just like, fuck. But yeah, I don't sleep very well.
Interesting. You know, you kind of mentioned it earlier on in this conversation, but it sounds like kind of an ADHD self-diagnosis. Is that right?
Oh yeah, there's something going on. I'm pooched.
Is that something you've known for a long time, or?
I think it's really starting to show its true colors for sure. Recently, and like I think I'm pretty anxious, unfortunately. So I got to deal with some things, which is cool. I'll deal with that.
But not uncommon.
Well,
because again, same thing. My wife watching the Beatles documentary, she's like, I don't know if I could be around those people because they're always moving focus elsewhere. It seems to be a pretty common thread, which I don't know.
Yeah.
How does that play into the creativity part of it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's hard. It's like a confidence thing is tough. Yeah, making things that are interesting is really hard, and just, yeah, I constantly think about that way too much.
Yeah.
Just overthinking. That's the main thing. And I think that just feeds into my own anxieties, and you're like, "Phew, buddy, you're okay. Don't worry." You know, you really have to remind yourself. That's certainly what this song is for me. It's like, just, you're all good, dude. Just focus at the task at hand and get through your day, you know?
I'm curious, you mentioned doing some video work for the band. Now, you studied photography at the U of Vic, so what kind of role does photography still play in your life?
Not so much photography anymore. Yeah, I did a brief stint at art school, but I think just, yeah, something about visuals is something I've always been really interested in. It was kind of just a luck of the draw thing where I was like, I really wanted my project to be very DIY. I don't really want to do big budget stuff anymore. I'm kind of over getting other people to try. I'm always disappointed, I guess. So I just was like, I'm going to just try and figure stuff out. And it was a nice learning process. Whether it's good or not, I don't care. It doesn't matter. It's just, I like it. I was like, cool, sweet, this is fun. And then I recently got like a really fun little Super 8 camera. I know that's very in vogue right now, but it's really fun to mess around with.
I don't know anything about the world of photography. Is that something that you still pay attention to?
I think I appreciate real photography for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, like we usually try and get all our press photos with proper film, and
right.
It's just something cooler about it than digital. It just feels real.
And I think you'd said you had to send the film out to Toronto to get developed?
Yeah, there's only one spot in Canada that does actual film processing here.
It's crazy.
Wow.
And it's been like that for a long time now.
Yeah. Well, there's one in LA as well. Again, it was just like I didn't really want to deal with border issues and US pricing and things. It's very expensive though. It's a little ridiculous. For like this, for instance, is a small Super 8 package, and that's $80 right there. So you're just like 3 minutes of footage. So when you're doing a music video, you can't blow it. You really got to storyboard that shit and not blow it. But
oh my God.
Anyways. So then when you move up to like 16 millimeter, which is great, we've done some Yukon stuff on that, and it's very pricey, but it's cool. It just looks better. It's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it sounds appealing, but it sounds too pricey for a habit that I'll
We're not going to start filming the podcast.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, get it on some 16 millimeter podcast here. That'd be great.
Oh man. Well, what you got? Anything else, Pete?
No. We appreciate your time.
Hey, thanks, man.
And thanks for being hungover and doing this. That's great.
The question's been answered.
What was that?
What was the question?
Is he a nice guy?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Siobhan was right.
And then some.
I passed the test, did I?
Yep.
Yeah, you passed the test. Thanks. Thanks for hanging out, man, and all the best of luck with those shows in the next couple of weeks. They sound like a lot of fun.
And we look forward to getting you back into Red Deer sometime.
Yeah, man. Great Value Village there as well, by the way.
God damn. We need to get them as a sponsor at the rate that they get mentioned on this show.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Every time we go to Bose, we got to stop in at that Value Village.
Which is crazy because one summer I hit up, I think it was like Value Villages. It was definitely 4 provinces. And I went to one in Vancouver at the bottom of, I think it was Commercial and East Hastings, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, yeah. It's like probably Mintage.
Yeah, which was like a magnificent Value Village at the time.
Did you like it?
I really did.
It's bad now. Yeah, it's pooched. It's way overpicked. And then there's one up on Victoria. Next time you're here, we'll go to that one.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, my buddy, I think he still wears his like vintage 80s Sun Ice jacket that he copped from that Value Village 10 years ago.
Oh, very nice. Good find, yeah.
And maybe the last good find there, apparently.
I just know that one in Red Deer. It's stocked full of good stuff.
All right. Well, maybe
we're doing a trip to the village.
We'll do a TikTok video with
it'd be worth it.
Yeah.
It'd be good.
Yeah. All right, dude. Well, thank you so much. It was a pleasure chatting with you, and you have a great weekend, man.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having us.
Thanks,
for me.
Bye. See ya.
All right, Brandon Wolfe Scott joining us from his home studio in Vancouver.
Now, I had a feeling there would be some Beatles discussion.
Of course there's going to be. It came out like 2 days ago, right? Yeah.
Okay.
Because
it's pretty much,
it.
and he posted about it. It's pretty much been taking up almost my entire world the last couple of days.
Are you finished it?
No.
Okay.
I got to do. Somebody else had said that they had to like stop and take a little bit of because it's 8 hours altogether if you're going to watch the whole thing.
Is it uncensored?
It's a completely uncensored, and the Beatles the band made it that way. Disney wanted to edit out some of the swearing and whatnot.
Really?
But yeah, somebody's lighting up a cigarette or a stogie all the time.
Like 10 seconds.
And yeah, definitely the language is there, so they were adamant they wanted it kept as real as possible.
Huh. Well, I'm excited to check it out. I think it'll be
it's a good look.
time.
If not, even if at first I was like, I don't know, if you're not really a fan.
Yeah.
This is just them for hours noodling away on all these songs that we know and love. But if you're just kind of casually into it, but I mean, it's honestly a lot more look at the psychology of the people that are involved that is the real story as opposed to the music. If you love the music, you're going to love all of that stuff. But even just to see the interactions between these four guys and then everything else that's going on.
I think the psychology of it is really the biggest mystery of the Beatles now, though, right? Like with all the information that's out there, all the historians and mega fans, the kind of drama or personal relationships of the band for the last, 5 years? What? This is right before this is the last record they wrote together, right? Like in the same room.
Yeah, Abbey Road and Let It Be so Let It Be came out last, but Abbey Road was technically the last.
Right.
Done.
Yeah.
But yeah, all of it is all towards the end of
them being real good friends.
Yeah. And then the other thing is too, is we've always had other people's perceptions of what happened in that room.
Yeah.
And now you get to go in and see for yourself
straight
exactly
up security footage, basically.
And I will say straight up, I mean, Yoko's been the brunt of many, many jokes and everything all through the years. At least through the first parts that I've seen, she's sitting there.
Yeah.
She's not doing anything. She's not getting in the way. She's not trying to have her input put into it.
Yeah.
She's just sitting there.
I've always thought that was a bunch of dog shit, just like projecting. And I mean, I'm sure she had some creative influence over the years or the time she was with John, but to think that those guys would let that specific circumstance or relationship.
And Ringo's wife was there a bunch, and Linda came in, and she's snapping pictures of everybody while it's going on. So,
anyways, cool, very interesting. I will check that out.
So, and it was great to kind of talk to Brandon a little bit about that as well, because when I went back and listened to that EP, I was looking at some stuff for it, and again, the Harrison comparisons were there, and I'm always curious how an artist feels about being compared to another.
Right. Well, he seemed to be into it.
I mean, again,
real
if you're
nice
going to
guy.
Be compared to somebody.
Real nice guy, funny guy too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
that fucking tea story is insane.
And he did that while hungover. That's great.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thanks to Brandon Wolfe Scott for joining us again. Check out his song "Fade Out." It is fantastic, and it's kind of refreshing to hear someone just be like, hey, I wrote this song, I thought it was pretty good, and I put it out, and I don't really have plans for what's next.
Yeah, no tour. There's no like big marketing machine behind it.
Just like, I worked on it. It was great.
Just a good tune.
And he's not wrong. It is great. So check that out, and make sure you give us a like and like on the Road the Stage social media accounts, as well as on the YouTube channel, Communal Creative Studios. Like and subscribe there, please.
Comments and shares help a ton as well. If you like what you see, let other people know about it.
If you don't like what you see, well, I don't think you can actually dislike a YouTube video anymore, so too bad. I think that's the case.
There's still a thumbs down, is there not?
I don't think they count the number of thumbs down. Thumb downs?
Thumb downs?
Anyways.
No more thumb downs.
Give us a like and subscribe there, please God.
Shout out to Go Services, Bo's Bar and Stage, Tourism Red Deer, and Sawback Brewing Company.
Happy 3rd birthday.
You gonna sing?
Nope.
Okay.
I just did, basically.
That was pretty close. That's why I was wondering.
All right.
Ryan and Ryley, shout out to Communal Creative Studios here in Red Deer.
Yes, and you, Pete.
And you, Patrick.
No. I said it first.
It's all you.
I'll see you next Wednesday. Wednesday.
The Road the Stage is produced by Ryan Kuly and Ryley Surian. Recorded in Red Deer, Alberta, and in partnership with Bo's Bar and Stage, Troubled Monk, and Tourism Red Deer. The Road the Stage.